Elena, oh, my heart. Anytime I get to see you, it is such a blessing. It is a coming home. That is what it feels like being with you. I am so excited for this beautiful opportunity. I'm so excited that every time we reconnect, it feels like we've never lost contact or never disconnected. And you have a beautiful book coming out. And really, the through line of this book is it's about the antithesis of the chase, the antithesis of inspired action, even. It's about being in the stillness. So we were talking about short podcast and how we're going to make this short and sweet. And I would love to hear a little bit about you. You are such a beautiful creator and you hold such beautiful space. I cannot tell you how many meditations I've been in that you have hosted and how much movement, yoga, all the things. Like you just have this way of just creating beautiful presence for people. And I love that we're in this midlife continuum together. And I love that you are so unapologetic of just like, let's keep it short because this is where I'm at in my journey right now is I need a short podcast and I feel you. So talk to me about that journey.
First of all, I love that I have all these little snapshots of us in many countries. In many different locations, places with other people around.
City. Do you remember when we ran around New York City, like getting things for a dinner, going and getting flowers? We were just running around, prepping for a party you were having.
Yes. It's so sweet to stay friends.
Mm-hmm.
And it's a testament to you, actually, that we're still in this together. The short podcast comes from my own desire. I feel as though there is the need to keep things brief and pointed. And of course, a meandering conversation is always a wonderful way to get to know somebody if you're listening to them being interviewed. But the truth is, this is about letting go, releasing what no longer serves in a very real way, and focusing on the details of what actually matters. And this book is a series of stories of my understanding, learning, cultivation of that practice of holding nothing. And I'm so psyched to talk about it with you. I just got my real copy.
It's beautiful. No. Oh my goodness. Oh, I love it. I love the cover. I love the colors and the design. I know that you work very intimately with your designer, the artist, to create these.
I do. But the fun part really is that each of us as we get older, this is our task. To learn how to let go of things, to learn how to prioritize really well, and to figure out what actually gets to take center stage in my life right now versus what took it 4 years ago, 6 years ago, 10 years ago. And to be able to sort of seamlessly make that transition, yes, there will be bumps in the road and glitches, but to really understand that this is what is being asked of us and to not apologize for it. I have to let go of this friendship, this job, this task, this choice that I once made. And it's not easy to do, but it is the task at hand. And this takes us through a series of stories, practices, permission slips. I keep coming back to this. They're like permission slips. The whole thing is a series of those to give you, the reader, permission to release what is no longer needed at this time.
I think one of the most beautiful lessons, this is kind of the download that I was getting when I was listening to you just now. I feel like one of the biggest let go lessons is raising children.
For sure. How old is he now?
He's almost 5. That's what he'll tell you. I'm almost 5.
Oh, almost 5. Wow. I remember you pregnant. Oh, I remember praying over that baby for you. Wow.
Mm.
I'm so happy that you have this experience in this lifetime. And I'm also having a bunch of friends who haven't had the experience. And I'm also really happy for them because they saved a lot of money and a lot of trouble. But the truth is, parenting is a big process of holding nothing and realizing that these kids are not ours and they belong to the world. And they came in here through us for whatever reason that we all have to figure out together. Jonah, my son, and I, who's now 19, we figured some things out in the last probably 4 to 5 months of his journey. Really beautiful closeness that we forged, but it took this long.
And is he still with you or is he off?
He's off. He's in his
He's
second
off.
college.
Okay. I had a feeling. Yeah. I was like double checking. I didn't know if he was. And how was that letting go? I have a lot of friends who are in that letting go transition. And I will tell you, I don't know if everyone's struggling with it. That is for sure.
Yeah, I wrote a couple pieces, actually, speaking of Substack, on my Substack about this. There's a piece called 2 More Weeks, where I just I wanted to capture in time these tiny little moments, a couple stories in here about it that I'm happy to read to you as well. Just learning how to see him compassionately and without judgment, with full acceptance and trust, even when it actually wasn't warranted. Trust in the face of distrust, respect in the face of disrespect. These are things that were concepts that were put in front of me as I was parenting, and it was like making no sense at all. And I did it anyway. It totally paid off. And now he trusts me. He trusts himself. He's making choices that I prayed he would make for so long. And I didn't tell him. He is coming to these things himself because of that trust and that practice. So yeah, there's a lot in here, probably 4 or 5 of the many stories for parents that will be very helpful.
I so appreciate that because I can imagine, especially mama roles. I think about, and not to say that dads aren't doing their thing, but I feel I can only speak from a mom and a boy mom to that degree, same thing. Both of us are boy moms and, holding back the mamaing, just don't say it. Just don't, just don't, just shut your mouth.
Literally said, you know what? I totally trust you.
Oh.
And James, James.
Yeah, James, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Basically Jonah's stepdad, he would look at me afterward and go, how are you he doesn't have this. And I would say, you know what? I think he does. And I'm just going to leave it be and let him figure it out. And he always would.
Was that your experience? I mean, obviously, as adults, and we've been adults for quite some time now, and we've had lots of beautiful opportunities to show up in integrity or to let something go and to make the choices, right? And whether that is a surrender or whatever that looks like. Was that the come through for you in this book? Was it from the hard won lessons or the surrendering? You talk to me about what the process of letting go has looked like for you. And has that been more of have you been more accepting or welcoming it as of recent? Or have you felt like this has been an unfolding for some time?
No, it's definitely unfolding for some time.
Okay.
And I think it was really when I took on a meditation practice in earnest that I started to be able to glimpse, just like through the weeds, still crashing and burning, what this really means, what it really means to not be overbearing, what it really means to not be overbearing as a parent or as a partner, or even as a friend, or even within myself, to not put too much pressure. There was a ritual that I devised for myself early on. It was COVID. I had just found Upaya Zen Center. I was doing everything online. I was learning how to meditate, actually. I really just wanted.
Were you still in New York?
No, you
had moved. Okay, you had moved to New Mexico.
And I had no idea what I was doing, but I would just make my seat in the living room and I would sit. And I'd be darting all around. My eyes would be darting. I'd be like, oh, let me just write this down. Have a pen. Is that what you're supposed to be doing when you're sitting zazen? No. But it did help me to empty my brain. And then I would go back to the sitting. And this ritual of sitting in the morning became the steadfast rule. And this is where it almost feels like I'm taking a shower from my mind. Get rid of all the doubt, the fear, the frustration, the angst, the anxiety, the anger and start your day. And I resisted it forever. And when I finally took it on, it actually made a huge difference in who I am and how I show up, particularly in my parenting, but also in every other realm, I would say.
And I want to speak into, I know someone's listening right now and thinking, you know the resistance because you had the resistance.
Yeah. Yeah, it was bad. I just wouldn't do it. I would just, I'll just do email, no big deal. When I finally said, okay, this is what I'm doing first thing, it literally changed my brain. I don't get as excited as I used to get. I don't get as angry as I used to get. There's just this like very steady, even key tone that I can trust in myself. And that's a real valuable tool in my life.
Yeah, I think about like, kind of what is the lesson, when we're here, and you started with it, is that not grasping, but also just not being reactive, like letting things kind of just flow by you. If you're finding yourself reacting, that that's not the that's not the steadiness at all.
No, there's something else that I think all these practices that you and I have taken on and that our listener has taken on to some degree, or they wouldn't have made it all the way here. There's a permission to feel the presence of something heavier and more gravitational. I don't mean heavy in terms of sad. I mean heavy, gravitationally anchoring, heavy, keeping us steady. And that's what's important, so that when our kid comes to us at the age of 15 or 17 and says, oh, I had this party and 3 people puked. Yeah.
They had the party?
They it up. No,
oh my goodness. That isn't somebody else's party that they went to?
You're going to get it all cleaned up, and then no worries. Just get it all cleaned up.
I was with some friends of ours, and we were at a mama who's, I think it's her 3rd daughter, her youngest, and she was at a party. And the rumors had gone around, the parents are talking. They had heard that one of the girls had thrown up at the party. And I think it was an all-girl party. There weren't boys there, but there was a moment where she was like, please don't let it be my girl. Please don't let it be my daughter. Please. And it ended up being another daughter. And like, let it not have been alcohol. And because these are all like 17-year-old girls, right? In this little party. Right. And it was actually a food poisoning situation with the other girls. But like, there was the adults didn't know what had happened. They just had heard something had happened. And, and here she is. She's like, just don't let it be my daughter. Don't let it be my daughter. And I thought,
that's just really funny. No, I've had much worse happen at my house. 3 people puking at a party, the one party that he had. I just can't even imagine that, Elena. Your house is such a sanctuary. One part. He has his own room, and they hang out in his room.
Okay.
And this is where it happened. And I just looked at him dead in the face, and I was like, dude.
Hey, at least it wasn't you. Clean it up. It wasn't you.
That kind of chill. There was no anger in my body even. I couldn't detect anything. I was just like, bound to happen. And actually, I was happy that it happened. He's never had a party since. That was so traumatizing. He had to call these girls back the next day. Please get back here and clean up, because I can't. And they all figured it out together.
Yeah, I mean, that's adulting right there.
Very much so. He's very much a delegator, but that's a story for another day. The real truth is, how can we, and this is for our listener, whether you're a parent or not, how can we stay super steady no matter what is happening? Particularly important, it's a real act of revolution in this world. It's an act of resistance in this world to be steady and to not be moved by all the news and to not be moved by all the horror in the world, but to instead take the action that's appropriate in your neck of the woods. What can you do? How can you serve the people in your town or in your region? What's there for you to do? And then you can go home at the end of the day and feel like, yeah, you know what? I served somebody else today. I helped somebody feel stronger, more empowered, more expansive, whatever the case. And I'm going to go to sleep. I'm not going to be upset by the news at 11 o'clock at night.
No.
TVs should be shut down. Nobody should even have a TV if I had my way. But no. All of this entire project is, how do we let go of all of these habit energies and just apprentice ourselves to reality as it is? Do the things that we can do in our neighborhood to take care of our neighbors and move forward with our day.
I want to speak about, I'm curious because I haven't seen the book yet. I'm really excited to see it. Is gratitude built into this practice as well? Is that a starting point for people too in the beginning? Again, there's that resistance of sitting still. And Elena, I'm curious, when you started just sitting, and the eyes were darting. And was there an allotted amount of time that you were saying, okay, I got my paper, I'm going to mind dump or brain dump. I'm going to get back to this practice. It's an hour. I'm giving myself a full hour to sit my butt here and do this. Was it curious, kind of what was the process? Kind of what was the commitment to you?
Okay. So 2 parts to this question. Number 1, in the practice that I have chosen, this is Zen meditation. The gratitude piece is not really a piece of it. Okay. It literally is just sitting down in the tangle of your life and being with everything. That's it. The first part of the practice was sitting online with the people at Upaya at the 7 a.m. sit. And the 7 a.m. sit involves sitting from 7 to 7:40.
Okay.
And then a liturgy, like a service. And I would never do the service. I didn't, in fact, even see a service until I was standing there live in person after COVID. And the first time I witnessed and was part of this service, I just wept. And I still do. I cry so many times when I'm there for days or weeks on end. It's very moving indeed to go through these chants, to talk about the empty space and the fullness of that empty space. But these quiet sittings in the middle of everything are not actually focused on anything whatsoever, except for seeing the phenomena of thought, permission to let them continue onward past your little field of consciousness, and staying in the empty field. That's it. Very frustrating at first. It's also done with eyes gently open. So, about here, eyes cast down. You're not closing your eyes. I find the minute I close my eyes, I'm just off in dreamland thinking about whatever is for dinner and how I'm going to cook it. If I keep my eyes open, I'm staying here with you, with this moment, this bag of tea, this book, this little Kuan Yin and royal ease, and nothing else. This is all I've got. This is my reality right now. Glass of water. Very helpful when my son comes to me with some very real conversation, or James comes to me and he's having a hard time with something, or he's in a great deal of pain and he's afraid to die, or I'll be at the hospice volunteering, which I've done for the last couple of years. And, quick, you've got to come and change this person. There is excrement everywhere. Okay. Gloves on, mask on. Let's go. No spikes. And of course now, Gabrielle and Sarah have me wearing one of these little CGMs. I'm pointing to the back of my arm, and now I can see what a spike is in my blood glucose. And I can totally imagine what it looks like in my mood. And I want to stay in the green range between 70 and 130. And I do not want to let it go higher. And I certainly don't want it to go spiking really high and then dropping, crashing down. I want it to stay steady. I think that's mostly what this is about. The big fullness that is total emptiness when we take a practice on that really helps us to release what isn't ours.
Mm-hmm. I don't think people understand how much their stress or their reaction to the world impacts their blood glucose levels. And that's what I love about that data, is that you can see it.
I see it. She has me wearing a ring too. None of this would I ever do.
I love it.
I'm now all, bionic.
I love
the truth of it is I can actually see in the daytime when there's stress in my body.
Yep. With the aura. So everyone, if you're watching this or not, Elena's got an aura ring on and she's got a CGM on, a continuous glucose monitor on. And we do live in a time of bioobservability. But the reason why I love this type of bioobservability is that one of the most insidious drivers of disease in the body is going to be stress and how we respond to this world. And this, I always say that there's nothing conducive to optimize hormones in this modern day world, especially if you're on your TV and you're in your phone and you're running from meeting to meeting. These numbers you're going to see those numbers in real time.
Yep. When I first started, it was very different and it was much more volatile. And now I'm learning, okay, if I'm seeing I can actually feel it when it goes a little high, either the stress level or the glucose. I can feel like a little racing in my heart. And I just knock it out, lie down, go on the couch, lay down on a biomat, wherever I am, lay down outside. Like I'm finally learning at 55 how to take care of my body.
Mm.
No, yeah, Gabrielle's got us weight training for the last 8 years. I've been like very serious. Check it.
Oh, look, you got, there you go. I love it. I saw you pick up your 20s. Yes. Happy birthday, by the way.
My head.
Yes.
And I can just do like 4 or 5 curls with the 20s. It's a little much still, but the 15s are becoming now the sort of baseline, which is really cool because baseline was 5 and then 10.
I love that. Well, and that's what we talk about when we're talking about not necessarily lifting heavy, but lifting for a little bit of progressive overload over time to preserve that muscle, mainly because Elena, honey, you're here to do some really big work. You want to make sure that it's not about the length of time we're here. It's the quality. I want the time that you're here to be so quality and, lifting those 20s. That's how we get there.
It's true.
And keeping yourself steady. That's also how we get there.
Honestly, if you're listening, every time I feel low or sad, which is rare now because of the consistency with which I've been using the weights, but the minute I start doing a weight training routine, I am perfectly fine. My mood is perfectly fine. I am back. My chemistry is back. I'm back. I have hope. I have care. I have happiness. Like it changes my chemistry to flex the muscles of my body. It's unbelievable.
I love movement for regulating the nervous system. And I will tell you that I love this conversation because it's the thing I will anchor to first is movement before stillness. Yep. And, kind of a takeaway that I'm walking away from for about 1.5 years, I was committed to 30 to 40 minutes of meditating before I got up. But my eyes would be closed. And sure enough, it was wandering. And I was like, I'm like, I'm a year in, like, come on. And so I think that was a big takeaway for me today is just, having your eyes open, but gently open, and just looking forward and just in that kind of, as you're just looking straight forward down, nothing except, you got your water, your tea, and that's it for the most part. And being in silence in that way.
There's nothing else. There's these few things. There's you and me, our friendship, trust. Couple books, yours coming out too.
Yeah.
Talk to you on my podcast too. It's just a joy to be able to drop into any moment as a result of this practice. If I'm sitting at dinner with a bunch of people, I can be present at dinner. I'm not going to my phone. If I'm sitting with James in a bathtub, we often like to do that where we catch up with each other in the tub. It's so sweet. I can just be present with him, really listen to him in a way that I wasn't able to do before. And that's what that open eye practice of sitting gives me. Just nothing else.
In the book, is there a story that you love, that you really love, that you want to highlight?
Let's see. I'll sort of turn to one.
I love that bath time ritual. That is so sweet.
Oh, God. It's the nicest. Okay, this is a great one, actually, for our conversation. I pulled page 115 in the book. And by the way, for our listener, in this book, each section has a short story, a little setup, a short story, a few prompts, and then a blank page that has art on it for you to write and answer the prompts if you wish. This one's called No More Talking Here. Sometimes we hear news that changes our lives in an instant, and sometimes such information gives us a revitalized sense of what's important, what's really here. Most often, our capacity to discern the gift or lesson in painful news requires time and quiet, healing spaces where we can connect to the heart of the matter so we can understand what's being asked of us. Here's the story. Walking into the building on the corner of 67th and Madison, slightly nervous to see this healer again. The stoic young doorman sees me and wordlessly grins. He dials the phone to let her know I'm here with one word, Elena. Yes, I hear her whisper through the receiver. I walk toward the elevator and a hush falls over my mind as I prepare my energy for our encounter today. She's one of the only healers with whom I've worked whose very presence elicits a shift in my consciousness. The elevator rises, the doors open. Taking the few steps to her office as quietly as possible, I open the latch and set my things down in the corner of the tiny kitchen near the foyer as noiselessly as I can. In this office, I realized the value of silence, of caring presence, and I don't want to make a sound. Entering the main room, she sits on a low chair in front of the window, silhouetted. Her hand moves a strand of prayer beads dangling from the edge of the chair, one bead at a time. She gestures with her hand for me to take a seat. It's been a few weeks since I've seen her, and we don't make idle conversation here. Even though we are also friends, and she's been to my classes, I take a sip of water from the thin Moroccan glass she's left next to my chair and just wait for her to begin. Her eyes are patient as usual, but today something feels different. Typically, after some moments of uncomfortable silence, she'd ask a few questions about my habitual overthinking, overdoing, rushing, whatever self-sabotage I'm committing currently. And then I'd lie down on the table and she'd begin, hands on my body, hands off, realigning, recalibrating my systems. I'd be transported to another plane, each visit a definitive shift. But today, as I look up, her eyes hold a composed stillness, a quiet depth where understanding and strength meet, carrying the weight of something known but not yet spoken. She begins telling a personal story, speaking to me as her friend now. I'm surprised and thankful for her trust. While on a walk some days ago, she calmly shares, she felt some fluid around her heart and lungs as though she was drowning. She went right to her doctor, was rushed to the emergency room, where she learned she had cancer. The treatments would begin in the weeks to come. I'm trying to hold it together, not sure what to do or say, knowing how many women with cancer she has helped and supported. Then she invites me to get on the table like always, energy flowing through her hands more strongly and surely than ever. The ensuing months of treatment, hospital visits from her close friends, moments of willing her body to produce certain cells and release others, confounding her doctors, will become a profound healing for her children, for her friends, and her patients. She continues silently teaching me from afar, anything is possible, all is given. This ends with a few prompts, and I'll hold those now because I also would love for our reader to kind of be
just sit with that
about the book. But I'll just share one. Are there circumstances or relationships in your world calling you towards silence where words aren't needed? That's the prompt that I gave in the book, but I would add to that, those situations are really important to keep close. Those are the ones that are going to help us really practice and learn how to die. And that's kind of the next step, is the next practice. Living as fully with as much love and fun as we can, as much care and consideration as we can, and dying well.
I'm so glad I asked. It was so beautiful. It was so beautiful. Oh my gosh.
Not out loud yet.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I wanted to just ask I just wanted to ask just permission to celebrate you. It's so beautiful what you've created for us. And where would you love for us? I mean, one, Practice You, your podcast is, incredible. Where else would you love us to attune to you, find you, connect with you? You mentioned the Substack. We can get it in the link. Where is the place that you would love us to connect most with you?
You know, the website has everything, and everything is always changing. I'm right now in the middle of chaplaincy training, and that has been a real joy. I'm writing a thesis paper right now. It is very intense. I just got all my feedback, and now I have to sit for many more hours on top of the hours I've put in. And the purpose of this paper is to serve other chaplains into the future with the sort of structure that I've given myself in my 3 different volunteer placements. And I have to say, as hard as this will be and has been, I'm really proud of this. So hopefully one day my chaplaincy capstone paper, thesis paper, will also be made available. And maybe that will be on my Substack too. Let's see. I write on Substack 3 times a month. I love that work. Just sharing what I'm learning. And, it's a beautiful community, really supportive, really wise humans. So maybe that would be a really nice place to begin with me. Is
perfect. The Substack.
Substack.com.
Perfect. So Substack, we'll have it there. We'll have the link to the website where the book is going to be, and the book will be available everywhere. And thank you. Thank you for your time today. Thank you for your beautiful, beautiful everything.
Thank you so much, my friend.
Thank you so much for watching. Now, if you found this video helpful, give it a thumbs up and share your thoughts in the comments. And if you are ready to learn more about perimenopause and how to navigate with a lot of ease and grace, be sure to subscribe to this channel so that you can join our community. Don't forget to share this video with someone that you love, that you know is navigating the perimenopause journey as well, because they deserve to feel their best too. See you in the next video.